Hey everyone, Scott Jansen here. In this video, I want to talk about confusion and using confusion as part of your therapeutic process, whether you're using the hypnosis style, using A.C.H, using more clinical style, even NLP and coaching. There's a common idea out there that we should be using confusion because it will enhance the way that we do therapy and obviously have our clients have a breakthrough. This video, I want to talk about what it is and also give you some pointers into how you can do that and what you can do. So let's look at using confusion with therapy. I've used the word therapy because it encapsulates NLP, hypnosis, coaching, all that stuff. Okay. So if you're unfamiliar, or maybe you're brand new to hypnosis, and more traditionally, you would have probably been taught this anyway, but let's look at this as we're starting from scratch. Traditionally, we're told as traditional therapists using like the script based, the language based, the all that stuff. Traditionally, you should use confusion based language and also confusion based techniques to purposely confuse the conscious mind of your client so they do not remember what was done unconsciously. So let's say you finish the session, it said that you should use some sort of confusion style, maybe story or language to sort of have the unconscious mind do what it's going to do, have it bypass consciousness, but also confuse the conscious mind so it doesn't interfere with the processing part. And like I said, there's a lot of people out there, they practice the confusion-based language. I've heard metaphors, have you heard stories, all sorts of things just to purposely confuse that client. Pretty straightforward. Alternatively, or in addition to that, we're also told that you should use confusion language and techniques when you're doing the therapy or even doing the hypnosis part to bypass the conscious mind and get direct access to the unconscious mind. Okay, so it said that if we confuse the conscious mind and we overload it, as it were, overload the conscious mind, it sort of goes away, does its thing, it sort of bypasses it. I've heard examples of like it goes to sleep, it just leaves things alone, it sort of exits the building, so to speak. So then the practitioner has more direct access to the unconscious mind without the conscious mind interfering. Now, this is traditional, and if you've watched my videos, you know where I'm going to go with this. This is one reason why we do not, especially do not need confusion with A.C.H, why I don't teach it and why I do not recommend it. Anytime you're forcing confusion onto a client, you are bypassing and violating one of the biggest rules in therapy in general, not just for A.C.H, but also therapy one-on-one. So let's look at that. And if you're stuck trying to confuse your clients, you don't really understand the language, it's hard to memorize the language, I'll make it super easy for you. You should not be confusing your client because you do not need to. I'm always of the mind that we want to keep things simple. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of these things are out there saying you have to do this, it has to be this process, you have to confuse here, you've got to have the post-hypnotic suggestions. All a big waste of time. You do not need those things to have successful therapy. Here's the thing. Confusion will not happen as a byproduct of deep therapy. And no pun intended, that wasn't meant to be confusing. What I'm saying here is if my client gets confused at the end of the session, fine. If they don't, fine. If my client, believe it or not, can remember every single thing that happened consciously during that session, fine. It makes no impact. It will not ruin your session one bit. If confusion happens from that client, that's the way it was meant to be. If they don't get confused, that's the way it's meant to be. A client can remember all they want from the session. It will have no impact on real unconscious change. So they can remember everything I said, the metaphors I used, the stories I used, the hypnotic interview, the testing, the processing. It doesn't matter. Okay, it makes no impact on the session. If you're forcing this confusion on the client, so if your client is getting confused after a session, good. If they are not, good. No need to force it. And it's the same rules around, we do not need to force regression. You shouldn't be forcing language. You shouldn't be forcing trance. You shouldn't be forcing things like post-hypnotic suggestions, pre-hypnotic suggestions, embedded commands. You shouldn't be doing all of that stuff. Why? Because it all comes back to violating therapy one-on-one, which is the therapist is trying too hard. Remember, your client changes. Their unconscious mind knows exactly how to change. Our job is just to help facilitate that. And a lot of therapists will say that, but they'll go in pre-planning a session. They'll go in and script a session. They'll have the techniques and all that. Now, we're not even talking about symptom-based, scripts just healing symptoms and stuff like that. I'm talking about the overall leverage that the therapist thinks they have by forcing these techniques on clients. All in all, let's say, for example, the second example I gave, which is using confusion language or techniques to bypass the conscious mind, you've got to think about what's happening inside your client's mind. You go from talking normally, like I am now, to using ridiculous language, confusing language, you're overloading this language, you're putting embedded commands, you're using your hypnotic gaze, you're slowing your voice down. All in all your client's going to think is, what the hell is happening? Not in a good way. They're going to be thinking, Scott was talking so normally now. Why is he talking so weirdly? Why is this happening? And instantly, whether it's unconscious or conscious, resistance goes up. When you switch from being the person to the overdoing it therapist, resistance will go up in your client because they'll see things have shifted and they'll see things have changed. Okay. Confusion also can happen in two ways. You could purposely try and confuse your client, and all it does is piss them off because they don't understand. They can't follow along. You might ask a question. A classic example of this is when we teach our hypnotic interview in our A.C.H training. I get a lot of emails from people outside of the program that'll say, Scott, I've watched your hypnotic interview stuff on YouTube. Can I add hypnotic language to that? Can I add NLP language, Ericksonian language to enhance those questions? And the answer is always no. You're missing the point. If you go into this turning a simple question, which is, how is that a problem to you? And now you take, how is that a problem for you? Or how, what's happening with this, or how you're feeling about that? Just a simple hypnotic interview question to find the unconscious payoff and investigate the problem. And now it becomes hypnotic, where it takes you 3 minutes just to finish your hypnotic babble. Your client turns around, gets frustrated, not in a good way, and says, I don't know. I can't answer that question. You're not making sense. They might not say this outright, but if you're noticing resistance, you're trying too hard. Having a client confused and pissed off at the same time is not a good thing. I don't want my client to be confused and annoyed because they feel like they should be answering my questions, but they cannot, and it's all based on my delivery. Okay, so all in all, you do not need to confuse your clients. You shouldn't be forcing these things. If your client gets confused at the end of a session, great. If they don't, great. If your client has their own regression, great. If they don't, great. If your client has their own timeline experience, great. If they don't, great. You see where I'm going here? If my client closes their eyes, great. If they don't, great. This whole thing that it must be done one way is absolutely ridiculous. Why? Because all people are different. Every client will go into trance differently. They'll have their own therapeutic experience differently. Okay? So hopefully that helps. It's a question I've seen a lot of Facebook groups. He also had one question in my Facebook group, and this is essentially the way that I answered it. You do not need to confuse your client. You do not need to confuse the conscious mind to get rid of the unconscious mind. Anytime you're trying to do something and you're trying to force it, you are now trying to perform. You are missing the point of good therapy. Their unconscious mind is way smarter than you give it credit for. Take a step back, stop trying to force things, and let things happen naturally. All right, guys, so that's how I use confusion with therapy. The idea around this is you don't have to, you never should, and do not force it. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.